There's a voice deep inside every dad calling him to lead. Society, vices, inner demons, negative thoughts try to dampen and drown out that voice, but it never goes away. Your wife feels it, your children feel it, and your heart and soul feel it too. It's the voice that starts off as a whisper, but then becomes a calling to be the tip of the spear for your family, a calling to play all out and lead by example for your children, a calling to build a legacy that will go on for generations, a calling to be the warrior dad you were born to be. Dads, our children need us now more than ever to be that beacon of hope, courage, positivity, and strength. It's time to rise as warrior dads together as a brotherhood. If you felt that twinge in your soul, it's time for the Warrior Dad experience. Welcome to the show. I am extremely excited to have special guest Scott Donnell on the show. Scott, welcome to the show.
Good to be here, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How about you?
Doing great. Doing
awesome.
great.
Awesome. So I always love to just start family dynamic, right? So dads listening to the podcast, to the show, can understand where you're coming from. So what's the family, what's the dad dynamic look like in your household?
Yeah, we got 4 kiddos. My wife, Amy, we've been married for 12 years. We live here in Phoenix, and our kids are 7, 5, 3, and 1 right now. And it's a wild house. House.
I would think so. You're building an army with 4 and 4 under the age of 8. You guys are definitely. I can imagine the chaos that sometimes ensues in the household. So love it. Awesome. So I know today we want to talk about raising value creation kids. What does that mean to you? I know you wrote a book about it. Would love to kind of heal the dynamic and unpack that idea.
Yeah. So we've helped about 7 million kids. So I laugh. I've got 4 young ones, but I'm also mentoring young people and teenagers and college kids and people all the way up to 30 now. We've been doing this for about 15 years. And I think there's a big issue. Kids today, I was on Tony Robbins' stage recently. We were talking about this. He asked me to come and speak. And the main thing he said after I was done talking is he said, everyone needs to listen to Scott because kids today are day trading entitlement and victimhood.
Okay.
That's their currency. All you have to do is go on social and complain about something or be a victim about something. And you get follows and likes. Or the more parents pay for everything and keep their kids from any what we call healthy struggles, the more that they entitle them and spoil them. And then they get frustrated later on in life. They're like, no one taught me how to do this right. And then the kids are blaming them and all these issues that come up from it. And so, based on our fight with this entitlement issue, helping these millions of families, we realize that one of the best things you can do with your kids is teach them to create value in the world.
Okay.
That's the point. And that's what we learned from the best families in the world. They all do this with their kids. They teach their kids to create value everywhere they go. And if you can do that, it actually is like a superpower for the kids. It gives them an unfair advantage for the future. And so that's the point here. And my expertise is in financial literacy, right? So we teach, we're one of the only people that actually knows how to pass on money skills to kids in the right way. Everybody cares about financial literacy, but no one knows how to do it and actually give it to kids, because kids don't think about money the same way adults do.
Right.
They don't have real world experience. They don't have budgeting and paychecks and expenses to cover and all these different things. So everybody wants financial literacy, but they don't know how to get there. Well, what we're saying is, here's what we've learned. Money is a store of value. If you think about that and you unpack it for a second, money is not good. It's not bad. The love of money is the root of evil. If money's everything for you, it's identity.
Right.
If money's bad, that's a poverty mindset. So what is money? It's a tool. It's a store of value. And so what you want to do as a parent is teach your kids to create value. And so we have different types of value that we teach: material value, emotional value, spiritual value. Those are our 3 buckets.
Okay.
Money's like a reward for creating material value, but not the other ones. But if you get your kids to think this way, to be value creators, it's a superpower for the rest of their life. And it protects them from all of the anxiety and the victimhood and the entitlement. So that's what we teach.
Love it. So the entitlement and the victimhood, where did we verge off onto that path? Was it when social was created? Was it before that? What have you seen in your experience? And I'm just interested to kind of think back of like, where the history, where that fork in the road was, and we went, a lot of kids and parents went down that path, and we find ourselves now where we're at.
Yeah. So, I mean, one of our first companies that we created, we're on our 6th one now. So, bunch of exits and all these people helping kids and families. Well, the first one was called Apex. It was a school fundraising company that I started to help my wife. She was teaching 1st grade. She spent her whole paycheck on the kids. And I was like, all right, this has to stop. So we started this fun run company teaching fitness and leadership. Kids would raise money. We taught generosity. We were starting to look at in the schools, and it exploded. It started serving thousands and thousands of schools across America. Okay.
Yep.
And we started to see right away, we're like, uh-oh, these kids are not learning critical thinking and practical skills and financial competencies, right? Maybe they were getting a little bit of the financial literacy stuff, but that's just more homework, right? They're not actually internalizing these skills to their life. So we started to see the problem in the school system 15 years ago with our first company. And so that's what led us down this path. It was like, all right, we got to take this into the home, right? That's why we started GravyStack. That's why we started dinnertable.com to teach this stuff to families. And so I think a lot of it is when you become a parent, the first thing you think you're supposed to do is to protect your kids, which is a good thing.
Right.
But then what you do is you go, well, I want to make sure my kids have all the things I never had. I just want to make sure they don't have to deal with any of the challenges I had to deal with growing up. I came from nothing. I'm a 1st generation successful person, entrepreneur, whatever it would be.
Mm-hmm.
But when you continually put bubble wrap around them, it slowly entitles and spoils them. And then, yeah, when you throw in Amazon Prime, instant gratification, social media where they can get validation for anything they want right away, and the hijack of the amygdala, and how this just is pervasive in childhood development before their frontal lobe is even formed. Yeah, I think this creates a big old tornado of entitlement. That's the problem. So we really have to buck this trend at home. Starts around the dinner table, we say, not the desk.
So if I'm a dad and I'm hearing this and I'm saying, holy crap, Scott's speaking about my kids. I took that path and I wanted to give them everything I didn't have. How does that dad start to fight that battle to go the opposite way, right? What are a couple actionable things that they can do? I know you mentioned kind of healthy struggles, healthy challenges. What are a couple, I love to give it actions that dads can take. What are a couple things that they can start to do to break that sense of entitlement and, that victimhood that's so pervasive?
Yeah. I mean, so we wrote a book called Value Creation Kid.
Okay.
It's a bestseller. It's called Value Creation Kid. They can grab it on Amazon. The tagline's my favorite, though. You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
The healthy struggles your children need to succeed. Okay. It's the antidote to victimhood and entitlement and anxious kids and laziness. So it starts with this idea of, all right, we're going to teach our kids to create value first in the world because it gives them agency. It gives them power in the world. The moment a kid starts creating value for other people, they're not going to fear about the future. The moment the kid starts to be in charge of their own expenses, for instance, then they have a motive to earn around the house. We call that the home economy system. That's exactly what our GravyStack app does. It literally just teaches kids to earn and cover expenses through gigs. Okay, that's the system that we train families all over the place. I think another thing that has caused entitlement is allowance and chores. Most parents, they're like, well, I'll just give you money for existing every week. That's socialism, actually. It's codependency. And so if parents, your kids should never get the same amount of money every week. They need to
Okay.
learn to earn. Okay. But also when parents don't do allowance, they're like, don't worry, my kids are like the good kids that do all the chores like we tell them to do. That's a problem because now you're just raising compliant children and now you're still paying for everything.
Right.
And they're not learning about financial skills or the value, how to create value. Right. And so with us, I can walk you through the home economy system if you want here for a minute. I think this is kind of the powerful system that the best 100 families that we've ever met from 7 million families, the best 100, we narrowed it all down to our best 100 and we just studied them for like the last 10 years. We're like, tell us everything because you have kids and grandkids and great grandkids that blew by the previous generation in every way.
Yep.
So tell me what you did. I have like hundreds of pages of notes, man.
Love it. Yeah, let's go. Home
Okay.
economy system.
Yeah, so this is one of our strategies of family legacy that we teach. Okay. It's called the home economy system, and it's 3 E's: expectations, expenses, and extra pay opportunities, which we call gigs. So you start with expectations, right? Because you shouldn't be paying your kids to do every little thing. There are some things in the home that's just their role in the family. All right. If you want to keep the last name, you're doing these things.
Right.
These are things like make your bed, clean your room. You should never pay your kids for those things. Dishes, trash, homework done first. Those kinds of things. Starting your day off right. Maybe exercising. Those are expectations in the home. All right. Money is not tied to that. And then you say, okay, how do I get my kids a motive to then do all the other things around the house or in the community? And you need to tie it to money. But the second E is not go give them ways to earn money. The second E is expenses.
Okay.
If you want your kid to be intrinsically motivated to earn, give them expenses to be in charge of. So we have 12 categories of expenses that kids should be having starting at age 6. And by the time they get that driver's license, they are fully responsible and autonomous with most of their life. So it starts with things like birthday presents for friends' parties, right? How many times did we as parents, don't lie, buy the present, wrap the present, kid just chucks it on the table when they get there?
I did that when I was younger. My boys split it now for buddies that they
Okay.
pay for it actually. So I'm a little bit ahead, but I
You're
was
doing well.
guilty way back when. Yep.
You're doing well. There you go. So, but most parents, they're like, we don't have time. It's a lot of effort. So that's why GravyStack, our app, we just automate the whole thing. It's like all this is a printout for the fridge. You have all your expectations, expenses, and gig opportunities there for them. So yeah, my daughter just went to a party like a couple weekends ago. She's 7, Reagan, and she's the only kid at the party that bought the present.
Wow.
Every other kid's parents just bought them and wrapped them, and they didn't even open the presents at the party, man. So they didn't learn generosity. Well, halfway through the party, Reagan comes up to me with the birthday kid, Dawson, and she's like, hey, can he open my present right now? I want to see his face. So they sit down right in the middle of the ninja gym, open the present. He's like beaming. He's like, this is awesome. He gave her a hug. She's like super excited.
That's great.
And all the other parents are like, what the heck did you just do? I was like, it's one of her expenses that she's in charge of. And it's what gives her a motivation to do gigs around our house. And we never have conflict over chores. She never asks us for money and stuff ever. Same with Sawyer, our 5-year-old. Like they never do. And every other parent, that's one of the biggest issues in the home is conflict over behavior and chores and kids asking for stuff, the greedy gimmies. Like this happens all the time. And if you give in 100 times before they're teenagers, then it just becomes that in mass, right? I expect mom and dad to pay for everything. I expect you to pay for all the sports. I expect you to pay for my social outings. I expect an allowance. I expect you to cover everything. And then that only breeds entitlement later in life. And so when you give them expenses, social outings, toys and trinkets, their first technology should be all their money that they earn, right? Half their car, match whatever they save, like those kinds of things, have them earn the money. And now the kids are motivated to earn and create value around the home. And that's the third E. And by the way, if you do that, you save hundreds of dollars a month, mom and dad. Okay. We have families saving $1,000 a month because they give their kids $1,000 a month of expenses. And the kids love it because now they have autonomy. Now they have responsibility and trust from mom and dad. And so that's the key is if you give them gigs around the house that they can do, these are extra earning opportunities on top of the free stuff, the expectations. There's a bunch of things. There's like 100 things that they could do to help your life as a family be easier, right? Take things off your plate. You're going to do things until your kids learn to do them, right? So this could be like stuff in the garage, sweep and organize, making them a meal, clean a bathroom, washing windows, yard work. It could be helping siblings with homework or other things like that. There's just so many things you can do. And we call those action gigs because you're using your hands and feet to do them. But the real secret sauce is what we call brain gigs. So there's both of those mixed in. This is why it's not chores. It's way more fun and intrinsically motivating. And they actually learn skills and capabilities by doing it. So brain gigs are kids using their brain to create value in the home and in the community. So this could be a subscription hunt. What if your kids canceled your extra subscriptions in the home that you didn't realize you were paying for, right? What if we teach them how to do that in our app? It's like, hey, go through and look at the things that you guys don't want or need. And I bet mom and dad just haven't had the time to go through it lately. And the average family in our program that downloaded the GravyStack app has saved $547 doing that one challenge. Okay. And it's a gig. Their kids get, give them a commission or $20 for doing it. And it's powerful. Or what about planning the next family trip? What if your kids planned the trip? What if they got the flights, hotels, the best deal? Now they're learning 10 different skills. And they're going to love that trip. They're going to own it. What about the coupon? We have a coupon challenge where kids literally get coupons for the grocery run. We teach them 4 ways to do it. And then from then on out, they're helping save on average now 26% on the grocery bill. Okay.
That's awesome.
Most parents do the kids' laundry forever. Kids can learn to do that young, right? And so these are brain gigs and action gigs that get mixed together so the kids see it all as like fun, because that's how kids learn. Fun and real life experience. So that's the point of this. If you set up this system in your home, and we do it automatic, all of our gigs repeat, we give you new suggested gigs, brain gigs. Hey, give them a book or a podcast or a TED talk, and then have them tell you what they're going to apply to their life. And it's like a couple $1 gig, like and then we let grandparents add gigs. Like there's all these things that we do in our app that just make it easy for kids to create value. And then what parents don't realize is the moment that they've mastered a skill in the home through a gig, they can go do it in the world.
Right.
Because now they have confidence at home, inner confidence, because they've accomplished and earned and overcome. Now they can go out and do this to the neighbors or family and friends. And that's extra money coming in at a very early age. Now they're learning value creation, material value creation,
right,
to everybody in the community. I mean, we're seeing parents cut the cost to raise their kids in half.
Wow.
And that's just the monetary side. Forget all the skills and the confidence, the capabilities, the tighter relationships in the family, because money can be used as a weapon in the home. Most of the time, when you don't focus on financial skills, money's a weapon. It's a source of conflict. Parents use it to bribe and coerce and buy their kids love. They don't realize they're doing that.
Yep.
So if you want to free up the relationships in the home, set up this system. That's the point.
There's so much to unpack. One, the laundry piece. When I get my boys to start doing that, it's going to change the game for my wife, because she's like, what, I got to do laundry again. It's like every 2 days with 2 teenage sons that play sports. So that's going to, change the game for her. And I love, the action gigs, brain gigs, and one, setting them up for success when they do this in the house, that then when they go out to the world, how much more prepared are they going to be to be those outliers, to have that competitive advantage in the world against their peers?
That's right. That's right. I had a mentor tell me one time, he said, hey, always treat your kids 2 years older than they are.
Okay.
And they'll rise up to that challenge. A 7-year-old can be cutting vegetables for dinner, prepping. An 8-year-old can be doing laundry and literally like folding and putting it away too. You know, kids in elementary school can be getting ready in the morning for school on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can set up these systems. These are the habits of the home. And I really remember that because, you know, people are like, wait, your kids are what? They're 5 and 7? I'm
Right.
like, yeah, I've been coaching kids on this for 15 years. I know that my kids can rise to the challenge. I mean, they're already doing Lego sets for 11, 12-year-olds.
Right.
Kids are way smarter and more capable than we think they are. We just do things for them all the time. And I think one of our strategies of legacy is we have to do more with them than for them.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yep.
If you want to have a strong legacy, spend twice as much time with your kids and half as much money. That's the point. And so I think a lot of this is parents have just been never told this. For 100 years, we've been told like, do allowance and chores,
Mm-hmm.
you know, get them a bank account when they hit puberty, start saving early for their future. It's like, well, why can't the kids start learning these things? Because I want them to head into the world capable.
Right.
You know, I want to set them up for success on their own. That's the point here. Like if they can be set up, I mean, we don't even talk about the $1 million swing. We call it the $1 million swing because when a kid leaves your house after doing the home economy and starting to like earn in the community and flipping assets at garage sales, all these brain challenges that we give them to learn.
Yep.
When they've mastered that, I mean, it's $1 million swing by 30. Difference in net worth so fast because they know how to create value instead of saying, I need to get good grades, do well at sports so I can get into the right school, go into debt, get a degree that may or may not be there.
Right.
And then I deserve the 6-figure job. Okay. That none of that is value creation. None of it. Instead, you say, okay, I'm learning skills and capabilities every single day that are creating value for everyone around me. I have zero fear of the future. I'm not worried about having to get that exact perfect degree someday. I'm just going to work on creating value. And yeah, colleges can be good for some. It's not good for others. We don't have to get into that discussion today. I'm on the news talking about that one all the time. But the point here is like, if kids go into the world as value creators, they will see the world with that lens.
Right. Yep. That frame.
That frame is, oh, I can create value in any situation. And this is what causes for getting the job, they'll get the promotion. You know, when they're teenagers, they'll start to see this is what makes the captain of the team. This is what makes for great friends, great siblings. Like it's just a sweet aroma in the home when kids think this way. Okay. One of the best questions you can ask your kids before they go to bed at night, you know, if you do nighttime routines and prayer time, whatever it would be, right? One of the best things, and Sharon Lecter taught me this. She's like the godmother of financial literacy. Okay. She's helped the last 6 presidents. She helped do Rich Dad, Poor Dad with Kiyosaki, Cash Flow Game. When we wrote our book, she was like, Scott, you have no idea how much you nailed it. She goes, every day before I went to bed when I was a kid, my dad would ask me this question. He would say, what value did you create for someone today? One question every day. And she said it changed her life forever, because that is one of the greatest ways that we can be of service to others is by creating value. And there's those 3 types, right? It's material value, what you create and produce in the world. There's emotional value, which is how you think and feel, your mindsets, how you help other people think and feel better. And then spiritual value, right? How we get outside ourselves and connect to a greater purpose, to connect to God, if you will. If you love God, I love God. So those are the kinds of things that kids, when you teach them that, they have power and agency, and they're starting to do it everywhere they go.
Yeah, no, I love those pieces, and man, I definitely have some tweaks, you know, just from a growth mindset perspective. The wheels are spinning in my head as far as things, because especially with the Warrior Dad, being intentional and leading my kids and guiding them in them being the best version of themselves. I want them to blow past what I've done in life. And
that's the goal.
This is, you know, we're so aligned in that North Star and goal and mission from raising our kids and our children. And this adds another layer to how to cultivate, how to get them inspired, how it comes out from internally within. And I've seen with my 15 and 13-year-old some great things, but man, I can't wait to implement some of these practices in the house. And like I said, the laundry is going to be a game changer
Oh yeah.
for my wife related to that. So creating a family legacy based on heritage, not inheritance.
Yeah.
Legacy is huge for me. What does that mean to you? I know it's probably right in line with what we were just talking about related to how we set them up for success, but pull that thread a little bit.
Yeah. So GravyStack is our app.
Mm-hmm.
If you have kids ages 6 and up, just get that app. The gigs repeat automatically. It's a printout for the fridge. You start paying them for gigs. It's just the easiest tool. It's free to download. Just start going. But dinnertable.com is our family legacy training. So all the people that started doing GravyStack, they're like, we need more help. Just coach us. Just, do you have courses? Do you have workshop? Like, give us coaching. We want your mind on this. So Dinner Table is really our coaching and our strategies of family legacy. We have 18 strategies we help families go through at Dinner Table. And the third one is heritage over inheritance. Okay. And what that means is it's more about what you leave in your kids than to them.
Okay.
All right. So 90% of generational wealth that's transferred is gone by the grandkids, over 90%. And people are like, whoa, well, what does that mean? Well, the second generation spends it and the third one's ruined by it. Is basically what happens. And underneath that number is a bunch of mental health issues and addiction and weak future generations, right? Because if they're not trained, having a bunch of money and stuff, if you're not trained to create value, is a terrible idea. Okay. Jordan Peterson told me this one time. He's like, hey, do you know what keeps addicts from being dead in the gutter? I was like, what? He goes, being broke. So the worst thing we can do for our kids is just die with a bunch of stuff for them.
Gotcha.
Especially if you don't train them and you don't build them up with the mindsets and the skill sets and the values. So for us, heritage is what we want to focus on.
Okay.
Use inheritance to build family heritage. And that is a last name that means something. Okay. So that is basically the values of the family and how you are passing on the things that matter most, the mindsets and skill sets and values of your family. So for us, it's like, okay, how do you create values? Well, I'll tell you one thing. Most families have no value. They don't have anything that's like attached to their last name. But even if they do, it's basically like a mission statement on the wall. Kids don't think in terms of mission statements on the wall. In 30 years, your kids are going to be around the dinner table, not talking about the paragraph on the wall. They're going to talk about stories. Stories equal values. So what you need to do is you need to start thinking of, okay, what are the 4 to 6 things that make our family stick? Like, what are those things? Everybody wants their kids to have, 40 or 50 characteristics, but what are the 4 to 6 words, that really make our family unique that we want our kids to pass on to their kids and so on? Like in our family, it's faith, family, and fish.
Okay.
We love God, we love each other, and we back each other, and then fish, which is fun and adventure, integrity, service of others, and hard work. Fish.
Okay. Gotcha.
My 3-year-old can say it every day at dinner, and he does. And we hunt for stories to tell them. We tell stories of our ancestors coming across the Oregon Trail, of my grandpa in the Korean War, literally smuggling out thousands of orphans to give them homes. Like, we tell the story of when we met, Amy and I, in our faith journey, in our first businesses, and we tell everything as a principled story, value-based stories. Okay. There's a quote out there that says, if you want to kill a culture, get rid of the chief storyteller.
Yep.
That's true in families as well. So we need to be very good at connecting our values to the stories we tell, and then keep hunting for those stories and celebrate them with our kids when they display the family values. That's how you build it in them. It's simple as that. So if you think about it, why does everyone think that we're steps away from World War III? It's It's because everyone from World War II is gone.
Hmm.
The stories aren't being passed on. The mindsets, the character traits, they're just not there anymore. This might be the fourth turning. Who knows? But if you follow our model, you're not going to have the strong men, good times, weak men, bad times, strong men. We know how to jump that.
Gotcha. Yep.
Okay. And that's the point. It's about setting your kids up for a lifetime of creating value in their own success, not you have all the success and then you ruin them.
Yep.
People
Awesome.
teeter-totter. People teeter-totter, man. Don't be a teeter-totter parent. You come from nothing, you spoil your kids. You were spoiled growing up, you go back to nothing and your kid, it's just teeter-tottering.
Yep.
So we have to stop that as parents.
No, I love it. I love it. So Scott, I know you wanted to give a gift to the audience, mention that, and then where can people find you and wrap it up?
Yeah, I'm just on social media. I'm Scott Donnell. Pretty simple. If they want to grab the app, if you got kids 6 and up, all the way through college, grab the free app. Just go to the App Store, type in GravyStack, and you'll see it. And then we want to give everybody our 18 strategies of family legacy. So if you want that, just go to info.dinnertable.com. You can just go to there and put your name in. We don't spam people. We just send it to you. And then if you want to follow up and connect with us, we're certifying coaches now. We're going into schools and businesses with the content. We're licensing it all over the world. So if people want to follow up and get this stuff for anyone in their life, same link, put your info in, we'll follow up.
Awesome. Scott, thanks so much for being on the show.
Happy to be here. Thanks, man.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Dare to be uncommon. Love, lead, legacy. Create a legendary day. I'll talk to you soon.